1983. Clifford Geertz, Local Knowledge, Further Essays in Interpretive Anthropology. The enduring challenge for anthropology, mirroring the broader humanities, lies in deciphering human culture. It involves a shift from seeking universal laws, as in the natural sciences, to understanding the nuanced, context-dependent meanings that humans ascribe to their lives. Clifford Geertz, 1983 collection. Local Knowledge, Further Essays in Interpretive Anthropology navigates this complex terrain. It offers a profound methodology rooted in the practice of interpretation. Moving away from positivist approaches, this book seeks to construct a framework for understanding culture as a system of shared meanings, a public phenomenon requiring meticulous analysis of symbolic forms. Geertz's central thesis argues that culture functions as a system of inherited conceptions expressed in symbolic forms, by means of which people communicate, perpetuate, and develop their knowledge about attitudes toward life. He advocated for thick description as the primary tool for anthropological inquiry. Thick description goes beyond simply recording observable behaviors. It prioritizes the interpretation of these behaviors within their specific cultural context, exploring the intent, motivations, and social significance that imbue them with meaning. This methodology, exemplified in Geertz's celebrated analysis of the Balinese cockfight, illustrates how seemingly simple events can reveal complex cultural dynamics. The cockfight, far from a mere sport, becomes a microcosm of Balinese society. It exposes power structures, societal values, and the emotional undercurrents that shape social interactions. The interpretation is not a subjective imposition but an endeavor to capture the emic, the insider's view, of the culture. The immediate impact of Geertz's framework was a significant shift in the focus of anthropological investigation, moving away from the pursuit of sweeping cross-cultural generalizations towards in-depth, localized analyses. The theoretical groundwork builds on and departs from earlier approaches such as structuralism and functionalism to understand culture. While structuralism, particularly championed by Claude Lévi-Strauss, sought universal patterns within human thought, Geertz prioritized the specific meanings constructed within a local context. Functionalism, focusing on how cultural elements serve societal needs, was, in Geertz's view, insufficient without understanding the symbolic meanings those elements convey. Geertz's approach demands a deeper appreciation for the intricate web of symbolic interactions. Philosophical hermeneutics, especially the work of Paul Ricoeur, greatly influenced Geertz. Ricoeur's emphasis on interpretation as a means of grasping meaning and the understanding of language as a cultural construct deeply informed Geertz's methodology. From Max Weber, Geertz inherited the concept of Verstehen, the empathetic understanding of social action through grasping its subjective meanings. The concept of Verstehen became central to Geertz's framework, emphasizing the need for anthropologists to grasp how individuals within a culture perceive their world. This approach required meticulous attention to detail, close engagement with local narratives, and a willingness to step into the interpretive framework of those. Geertz's methodology, at its core, is a practice of translation. The anthropologist serves as an interpreter, converting complex, often subtle, cultural symbols and behaviors into a form understandable to an external audience. This process demands not only descriptive precision but also the ability to connect the local to the universal, to extract the broader human implications of seemingly specific cultural practices. The concept of culture, in this context, is neither a collection of isolated facts nor a set of objective immeasurable variables. It is a web of significance that the anthropologist must meticulously unravel. The exploration of local knowledge is about the interplay between context and meaning. The very term encourages an awareness of the intricate embeddedness of knowledge. It encourages us to consider how local contexts, practices, and traditions shape the ways that people understand and interact with their worlds. Geertz argued against the homogenization of cultural understanding and insisted on recognizing the specificity of different societies. His work challenged the universalism that permeated earlier anthropological accounts. It highlighted the importance of recognizing the cultural specificity of all knowledge claims. This initial framework, which foregrounded interpretation, thick description, and a focus on local contexts, reshaped anthropological practice. It set the stage for subsequent debates. The key concepts introduced within this collection remain cornerstones of the field, demonstrating their continuing relevance. This foundational work offered a new framework, moving anthropology away from the positivist idea of uncovering universal laws. Instead, it encouraged the embrace of the rich landscape of human meaning and understanding. 1983. Clifford Geertz, Local Knowledge, Further Essays in Interpretive Anthropology Deep Dive into Local Knowledge and Legacy. Clifford Geertz, Local Knowledge, Further Essays in Interpretive Anthropology, published in 1983. represents a culmination of his commitment to interpretive anthropology. This collection of essays solidified his influence on the field. Geertz's central thesis, woven through the collection, revolves around the concept of local knowledge. This concept suggests that all knowledge and understanding are inextricably linked to specific cultural contexts. This work stands as a powerful critique of universalizing tendencies. These tendencies were prevalent in social sciences. Geertz offered an alternative. His approach emphasizes the importance of understanding cultural practices. These practices can only be adequately interpreted by grasping the specific meanings and symbols within their local To fully appreciate Geertz's contributions, one must examine the essays themselves. The essay Common Sense as a Cultural System provides a particularly insightful example. In this essay, Geertz argues that common sense, often viewed as a universal and self-evident form of reasoning, is, in fact, a cultural system. Common sense operates as a system of beliefs and practices. Its operation varies across cultures. It is not an objective, neutral lens. Common sense provides a framework through which individuals interpret their experiences and make sense of the world. Geertz meticulously deconstructs our understanding of common sense. He reveals its culturally specific nature. The essay examines the ways that this cultural system influences thought. It influences behavior and social interactions. Geertz skillfully illustrates through detailed ethnographic examples. He shows how seemingly universal concepts are, in practice, deeply embedded in local cultural context. Geertz's methodology of thick description, articulated in his earlier work The Interpretation of Cultures, is central to local knowledge. Thick description involves interpreting cultural symbols and practices through the lens of their meaning. It involves understanding the context. This goes beyond the surface-level observation. This framework requires deep engagement. It needs an intimate knowledge of the cultural context. This requires understanding the local nuances. The goal is to capture not just the observed behavior, but the intentions, motivations and social meanings. These meanings give it significance within the specific society. Through thick description, Geertz invites a deeper understanding. He illuminates interpretations. Local knowledge has not appeared without criticism. One consistent concern revolves around the potential for subjectivity. Critics argue that interpretive anthropology, with its emphasis on cultural understanding, risks imposing the anthropologist's own biases and values onto the observed culture. The challenge of achieving true objectivity is inherent. Geertz's critics point to the difficulty. They also point to the problematic nature of translating culturally specific meanings into terms that are accessible to an outsider. The concern about ethnocentrism, the tendency to view other cultures through the lens of one's own, looms large. This highlights the danger of misinterpreting cultural practices. Thick description, with its emphasis on nuanced interpretation, aims to mitigate such risks. Critics note that accurately documenting and interpreting complex social phenomena presents significant methodological challenges. Despite such critiques, the impact of local knowledge on anthropology and other fields has been profound. The emphasis on local knowledge has helped to shape subsequent research. Subsequent studies prioritize the importance of cultural context. This has led to a more nuanced and sophisticated understanding of human societies. The exploration of meaning and interpretation provided a critical framework for examining social phenomena. The emphasis on the situated nature of knowledge has continued to resonate. It has influenced studies within cultural studies, sociology and linguistics. Geertz's work directly influenced a generation of anthropologists. These anthropologists embraced interpretive approaches. They developed new methods. These methods enriched the study of culture. This has led to a deeper appreciation for the complexity of human experience. Prominent figures like James Clifford and George Marcus, key figures in the post-structuralist turn in anthropology, drew heavily from Geertz's insights. Their work expanded on his concepts of representation and cultural critique. Post-structuralist anthropology owes a significant debt. This movement emphasized the role of language. It also emphasized the power structures that shape knowledge production. However, it often moved beyond Geertz's emphasis on cultural symbols. These were the primary units of analysis. This shift reflected a broader intellectual trend. This trend prioritized the examination of the ways in which language, power, and ideology interact. The influence of Mitchell Foucault and Jacques Derrida is apparent. His writings, and those of post-structuralists, demonstrate the enduring importance of critically examining power dynamics. It highlights the significance of how they shape knowledge and representation. The legacy of local knowledge extends beyond the field of anthropology. Geertz held shape interdisciplinary studies. His ideas have offered many insights into understanding identity, cultural representation, and social power dynamics. In a world undergoing rapid globalization, His emphasis on the significance of local contexts and the diversity of cultural knowledge remains incredibly relevant. This work inspires the continued exploration of cultural differences. It encourages engagement with a world of great complexity. His work remains a powerful reminder. It reminds that understanding another culture requires careful interpretation, empathetic engagement, and a continuous commitment to critical self-reflection. His concepts of common sense and thick description challenge all of us to reconsider our assumptions. It also prompts us to better understand the world,